Hello, good morning. Welcome to this webinar about the third open call of the SNS project Imagine Beyond 5G. We will start very soon, just to give people the opportunity to join. Although the webinar is being recorded and it will be uploaded to the web page. Maybe before we start, just to insist that we have a mandatory feasibility check, although I will mention it later, which is in 10 days, and that applies also for previous submissions in a way to the previous two open calls. So I'm going to start sharing, and let me see. So yes. Okay, let me see. What time is it? And well, okay, I think we can get started with this first introduction to the project. So welcome again. My name is David Gomez Barquero. I'm a professor at the Technical University of Valencia and coordinator of the project. And we have prepared this presentation together with Ogdu Alai, which unfortunately she cannot be with us today, and Kostas Kusias from the University of Oslo in Norway. They are the technical managers of the Open Call, and we have with us Jim Clark from SETU in Ireland, which is the admin manager of the Open Call. So let's get started. I'll make a first quick introduction to the project, and then we will get more into details of this third open call. Okay, so well, for the ones of you that are not familiar with Imagine Beyond 5G, we are an SNS StreamD project, so which is pilots and trials. We are a consortium of 17 partners, and we have had already 2 open calls. We have the third one as open, and the project has 4 5G experimental facilities in Norway, in France, in Spain, and in Portugal, and that's where the trials and pilots should take place. The overall objective of the project was to deploy an end-to-end advanced 5G platform for trials and pilots. And as also, well, these facilities we have, they can cover representative scenarios for different verticals. So what we are aiming is to reach, in general, a high TRL level, or as high as possible. There is also room for more experimental and lower TRL projects, but in general, we are aiming to reach this as high TRL. And in the facilities, each facility that you will see later, they have a number of advanced 5G features or capabilities. We have been also working on, and now that we have 2 open calls up and running, especially in APIs, so that the developers or third parties that come to our facilities, they can make a easy access to our networks. Okay, so continue. And this is a bit like the high level picture of the methodology of the project. So project was structured in 3 phases. In each phase, there is a what we call a platform release. So it's basically the facilities, as you know, they are being updated or enhanced all the time, and not only because of this project, but well, other different projects that the facilities have in parallel. So there is a platform release in the sense that it's like the features or capabilities that are available for each of the open calls. And then we have like a traditional approach, like we have the definition of what we call the vertical use case blueprint, the application onboarding, the execution of the trials and pilot, and then the validation. And we have had 3 open calls. In the first 2, we had two different type of projects. We have the platform extensions that they were meant to improve or enhance one of the facilities of the project, and but that option is not available for this third open call. So we have only what we call vertical experiments. So we want like a vertical application that I mean, someone brings a vertical application. It's integrated into our facility, and then with the help of the consortium, perform some trial and pilot and validation. Okay, so that's a bit the general procedure. So as I have said, we have had 2 very successful open calls so far, with a high number of submissions. We allocated around a little bit less than 2 million euros in each. There you have like the numbers of submissions per category. So V stands for vertical extension, P for platform extension, and more or less we selected for funding 15 projects with 19 partners. So because it was possible to go in consortia, that's also that will change in Open Call 3. And well, I wanted to inform you that the winners cannot participate in the third open call. Some of the projects of the first open call have just finished last week. We are now in the process of reviewing the final deliverable, providing feedback if needed, and make any updates. But well, it has been decided that the winners cannot participate and have a second project, and that's the usual approach in open call projects in the European Commission and also in SNS. Of course, if participants that submitted a proposal and they were not selected for funding, they can obviously, and we encourage them to try to improve the proposal and resubmit again, and hopefully they will be more lucky this time. The second open call had a similar number, even a bit more of submissions. It's not here shown that we have a mandatory feasibility check. So actually, we receive more feasibility checks. It's not shown here, but that's very important for you to not forget that we have a feasibility check requirement, and it's mandatory. So well, there you have the numbers. Again, for the second open call, we selected another 15 projects. And again, the winners of the second open call cannot participate in the third open call. Okay, and then regarding this third open call, just to give you a little bit more of information, though you have everything in the on the web page. Well, most important is regarding the timeline. It's the execution. Okay, the execution of the project is somehow We expect it to take place between April and September next year. So we plan more or less for 6 months duration. Budget is 60,000 euros. And we do not allow consortia. So it's just a single partner. And then, well, for the submission, we have this mandatory requirement of the feasibility check. Deadline is in 10 days, I believe, 15th of November. And we have also, well, deadline is the first Friday of December, which I think we have it later, the exact date. So a little bit more than like 1 month to the deadline, 10 days for the feasibility check. And as I was saying before, we are going to focus on vertical experiments only. Okay. So no platform extensions this time, because the platform extensions are actually supposed to be used by vertical experiments, and well, they were not conceived for this third open call. So we have a number of use cases of interest, and we have one of high priority, let's say, because it's one of the use cases that we included in the original proposal, and we don't have it yet ongoing. So we have 30 projects in total from the first and second open call, but there is only one use case from the original proposal that is not being implemented. So, but we are also open to receive any proposal or idea for vertical experiments at the end. And I have to say that at this time we are very well covered, except for this use case that I will tell you later. Well, no. Okay, so here you have the verticals that the project has. That means that we have the capability in one or more facilities to actually focus in some of these verticals. And we have a representative scenario. In some cases, we have vertical stakeholders to reach this high tier level. And well, I have to say that this information, it's in the web page. There is a document with the vertical experiments, and it's very well, I encourage you to read it, so it will help you to understand the use case we are looking or expecting, and the capabilities we have. And there is another document describing the facilities and the proposals. Well, you should try to, for these vertical experiments, try to define or propose a pilot and trial. General recommendation will be like, if you try to reach the highest possible TRL level, and of course in collaboration with the consortium, and that will be like a good strategy for preparing your proposals. So here you have a number of use cases in the different facilities, and well, at the end, as you will be focusing on one. Let me. So as I was saying before, there is one which is in Portugal. Okay, but it's in transportation and logistics. Okay, and again, I will not go in details over these use cases. You have a detailed description in the web page. Okay, we have also some for media, and this one. So we have this use case one in transport and logistics, which is improved localization mechanism for transportation and logistics, which is in Portugal. This use case is making use of a platform extension project of the first open call, although it's described in the facility document. So this is the only use case that we don't have we are not working on it, and it was included in the original proposal. And then the commission, the project officer, has encouraged us to give high priority, and we can actually give priority to this use case and select the best proposal for this particular use case. Then all the other use cases, verticals, then will go like to a common evaluation ranking as usual. Okay, and then as you can see, there are many options, and well, we expect again more or less 15 projects, but well, we will select those uh, without any special priority, let's say. I have also an Industry 4.0 in Norway, have some education related to immersive education. We have also one rural site for smart agriculture projects and some e-health. Okay. And then, okay, so let me, some important information. Well, again, it's the 60,000 euros for per project, no consortia, so a single participant. More or less, we expect 15 projects, duration around 6 months, and to start between April and September. Maybe it's possible, or ideally it's possible to start a little bit earlier, and we have, but the idea is to close to finish in end of September next year, because the project will finish in December. We have also another commitment, which is to allocate at least 50% of the budget to SMEs, scale-ups, and startups. But I have to say that in the previous two open calls, we haven't done anything about this, because just the ranking, there are usually more than half are SMEs. But this is one condition that, or requirement we have, and just for your information, that it's there. Okay. And then we have all the information you need in the web page. Well, you'll see the third open call. As I was saying before, this the document where the use cases are described is this one, the vertical experiments. The facilities are described in this other document, and then you have the proposal template, the feasibility check template, and I insist this is mandatory, and has to be submitted in 10 days at the latest. And then there is a guide for applicants and the grant agreement that you will sign if you are selected for funding. So there is no, Jim will explain it later, no possibility to negotiate it. You have to accept it as it is. And well, there is here is like this is the link where the platform we are using for the open call management, and it's like a conventional platform for submitted like papers, So, but in this case, you're not submitted like a project proposal. You need to register, but we don't do any spam or anything. So, okay. And well, this is the first introductory part. We will have at the end some time for questions and comments. And now we have the well, it's like a very brief summary of the facilities. We have a high-level architecture of the project, where basically we have here it's where we have the vertical use case applications. Okay, and for this third open call is where you will be here. You will be communicating with some APIs towards the facility, and the good thing is that those APIs, so they have been tested already by the first open call projects, and the second open call projects are about to start. So well, the process is improving also with the experience and lessons learned with the other with all the open calls. And now we have, well, the Norwegian facility. I don't know if we have someone in the facility that want to explain briefly. And I don't know if I need to think maybe you are muted, or I need to grant you. Or Costas, can you help me? Is there someone from the Norwegian?
Just give me a second.
You should be able to allow.
Min, can you try now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you, Min. Yes.
Hello, Min.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will just give a very brief introduction about the Norwegian facility. Norwegian facility that is mainly located in Norway, and here it's jointly built together by Telenor and the UIO and Nokia and other partners from Telenor. So at this moment, we have two main sites that can be used for the OpenCore 3 projects. One is in Oslo Fornebu area, which includes actually 3 radio nodes. One is the micro node in the Fornebu, which is a headquarter of Telenor. Another one is indoor radio node, which can provide a better coverage for indoor use cases. And the UIO site is also under construction. It was up running, but at this moment we experience some problems. Hopefully that can be fixed very soon. That is also an indoor C-band radio with connection to our central site, central core in Fornebu. And we are also in the process of deploying a local breakout edge so that we can offer better services for applications or use cases requiring low latency or need to do some local processing, for example, for the AI applications. The next other site is in Svalbard, which is far away from the center of Norway or the headquarters. That is in that region we have outdoor radio node, and it also has dedicated autonomous edge, which means if the connection between the island and the mainland of Norway is broken, the Svalbard site can recover the 5G connectivity by activating the local autonomous edge immediately. So this is a reliable 5G which we are investigating and experimenting, and we're also very looking forward to use cases which can show the benefit of this autonomous 5G and a reliable 5G capability. And on the left side, you can also see the spectrum information of these radio nodes in Fornebu, Oslo, and Svalbard. In general, we can offer some extra capabilities from the OpenCore 1 platform extension project like MCX, IMS, but that has a limitation on the on the time when in OpenCore can use this, and due to the license issue. We're also working with this OpenCore 1 platform extension project on PNI and PN. And this actually, to be more precise, is the integration between the public 5G network and private 5G network, special private 5G network, which we call the network on wheels, because it's, you can see from the right corner, we also have a moving private 5G network deployed on the truck, and so that we can deploy these 5G networks on demand anywhere and everywhere you want in theory. But of course, in reality, if you want to use network on wheels, we have to coordinate on the logistics and on when and where this network on wheels can be utilized. That is an overview of the Norwegian facility sites. Then other than that, for the public 5G network, we also have some advanced features. For example, we have the first multi-vendor 5G platform with a standalone 5G core. And for this, we can offer a series of new functions and features, and it is also possible to add the new functions and features. But for OpenCore 3, the focus will be on the vertical experimentation. So we will offer the basic 5G SA core capabilities, plus some local breakout edge capabilities. So I think, Kostas, that's your turn for the UIO.
Yes, so this is the equipment we have at the UIO. I mean, this is part of the equipment we have at UIO. As Min said, we are also building a 5G testbed. It is already there. We have experiencing some few problems lately, but since we have already 2 OpenCall projects running at the UIO, we are pushing towards solving them as fast as possible. So we expect, like in the next maybe a few days or weeks, we can have them ready. And OpenCall 2 just started, so they will start running the experiment soon. So UIO, we have also a lot of VR, XR equipment, and also a few of the haptic devices that you can see here. Also on the left side, you see all the VR headsets. We have Oculus Rift, the Quest 8 HTC Vive, and the two most critical part that we are working now is the robotic arm. We have a UR10E robotic arm and a Sado robot dexterous hand that allows for experimentations with multiple use cases. And of course, we have some Rococo smart suit that we can use for motion capture use cases, LiDAR cameras, and so on and so forth. Yeah, next, please.
No, well, that's
that was the last. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And then Mina and Kostas, and well, take a look to the description of the vertical experiments for the use cases that are of interest. And again, this infrastructure is very mature and has many possibilities. You can also propose a different use cases. So, okay, we'll go now to the Spanish facility. I'll explain you a little bit about it myself. So the Spanish facility is, we have 3 different sites. So we have a rural site in Soria, so North Madrid, that focuses on smart agriculture. It's also a facility that is full with renewable energy. Then we have two sites in Valencia. One is the port of Valencia, Then the other one is at the UPV campus. Then we have different priorities. The UPV campus, we focus mostly on immersive education. And in the port, there are a different number of use cases related to, security, surveillance, and transport and logistics. And so, this is here you see a picture of the campus, UPV, one of our antennas. We have 2 outdoor sites that gives the possibility to cover like a wide area of the campus. UPV campus is like a small city in a way, because we have over 30,000 people working and studying there. And here you have the frequency bands. I think is of interest. And then we have our immersive communications laboratory, and we have a large number of equipment related to XR, holographic, and telepresent communications, and so on. So if you are interested, you can take a look to the facility description to know what equipment we have, and which is available to you as third parties to come and experiment with us. We have had already a couple of use cases related to immersive education. And in the port, again, we have actually we will have a second 5G base station very soon, covering different areas of the port, and where there are also several possibilities. I forgot to mention that we have also we are using the public 5G network of Telefónica for some of the use cases, and we are making use of these Open Gateway APIs for providing advanced features of the network. And the rural side, you have it here. You can see a picture, and it's like this really rural, isolated area, ideal for experimentation. Although logistics are not so easy there, but it's not that far from Madrid. It's about 2 hours drive, more or less. Okay, and then we will move to the Portuguese facility, and I think we have Fatma with us, or hello? Costas?
I don't see Fatma online.
It's not Fatma?
I don't know.
Or David? We have
David
someone
is here.
from the...
Yeah.
Okay, thank
David,
you.
can you hear us? Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Costas. So thank you all for joining. Yeah, I would like to give a quick overview of the Portuguese facility, which is distributed across multiple locations, mainly in Aveiro. Each one of them enabling different type of use case. So as you see in the picture, we have a permanent outdoor location in the Aveiro seaport, with 3 industrial antennas providing coverage for the port and all of its surroundings. Throughout the city, we have deployed sensors and small edge devices, which can be used to, for instance, data collection or enable urban focused applications. We also have 5G coverage within our labs in IT Aveiro and Altis Labs, but they are different 5G network solutions which can be used to test network heterogeneity or multi-domain scenarios and so on. We also have in the University of Aveiro, we have a 5G node at the electrical substation, which can be used for energy management related use case. Throughout, is not visible on this slide, but we also offer portable 5G standalone network solutions, which include open source core solutions like Open 5G SV, 5G Core, Open Air Interface, and they can be paired with various RAN types from SDR to commercial grade RAN, which allow for flexible deployment when and where they need the 5G network. Next slide, please. So this slide is similar to the one presented before, but it provides a closer look at the geolocation of each site and the technology that is deployed there. The main idea is you can go, okay. On this, you can go to the previous slide, the geolocation one. So the main idea to grab here is that at the seaport, the university, and on IIT Aveiro, we use a Huawei commercial graded network solution, and being a commercial graded is a robust, high performance and high stable system, but is not as open as the open source solutions. On the Altis Labs, we use a Druid core with ASLOX RAN, but all sites can be connected to open source cores, giving us the flexibility in the network integration. So next slide, please. In the Portugal facility, we have centralized all the resource orchestration for verticals through a common portal, which is OpenSlice. This portal allows verticals to easily access, instantiate, and orchestrate resources across our facility, including managing end-to-end network slicings. Then OpenSlice connects to a set of orchestration, which then link to our different data centers and networks. Both of the main domains are here represented and can be accessed through this portal. For test and validation purposes, we have key site tools integrated and available on the facility. Next slide, please. Finally, I want to emphasize our priority for applications that have use cases that leverage the running platform extensions. Since we need to validate these extensions, it is ideal to support vertical experiments that use them. And by this, we ensure that these extensions are tested in real-world scenarios. So the first extension that we have running is from OC1, which is the SRS platform, which includes an open run outdoor deployment with positioning support. This platform also incorporates the FlexRig functionality through the Open Run E2 interface, and it will be available on Q1 of 2025. This, as the Professor David told before, this is well suited for the use cases of transport and logistics that require precise positioning. The second extension, which is starting now for OC2, is a distributed and scalable monitoring platform that collects and exposes metrics on resource and energy consumption across the data center. This extension is particularly valuable for applications that focus on energy efficiency and resource monitoring. And this concludes my presentation.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the French facility. I think we have Julio with us.
Yes. So, hi everybody, this is Julio from French facility. I'm a research engineer. So I will be presenting the Eurecom site, which is located in Sophia Antipolis, which is in the south of France. On our facility, we rely basically on the open air interface solution, which is an open source implementation of the 5G, both from the radio perspective and the core network perspective. Our core network implements service exposures capabilities directly via 3GPP APIs and also using the CAPI framework. We can combine those solutions to provide standalone deployment and also non-standalone deployment at our facility. And we have both FR1 and FR2 radios. We basically have two deployments. One is outdoor, which is fixed, and it's always used and exploited for testing use cases, most like PPDRs, drones, and so on. And concerning the indoor deployment, we have a fixed one, which is deployed inside the campus. But also we have, let's say, a non-fixed one, which we can deploy in our lab and create test beds for these cases. So we basically have different technologies from different vendors for the radio, which makes the radio part multi-vendor at the end, and it can be easily integrated with the open air interface software. Concerning the vertical services, so the kind of services we onboarded and we can onboard, for the moment we have this kind of slices, so URLLC, MMTC, and EMEB with those throughputs that have been tested end-to-end with the open air solutions. So this includes also the limits of the radio implementation. Concerning the way our facility is deployed, we rely on a big OpenShift cluster, but also on local deployments that can be done, let's say, autonomously from the domain one for deploying test beds. All of those deployments are based on microservices, container-based, and also the good thing about the fact that this is an experimental facility is that all the blueprints to reproduce test beds are available online. So if you want to reproduce locally a smaller test bed to start testing and playing with facility capabilities, you can do it. We dispose of different computing resources, but for this project mainly we will use Dell servers that are based on Xeon architectures.
Mm-hmm.
Concerning the architecture, in this picture we're showing that apart from the compute fabric, which is what we call the physical part, the infrastructure part, but also a part of the facility, 5G facility itself. We have also an orchestration layer, which can translate intent into deployment manifest and then deploy the resources. We dispose of a web portal that can facilitate and can help verticals to deploy their applications, but also APIs that can be directly accessed that are well documented in the Open API format. The lifecycle management of the workloads is then managed by this orchestration layer, but we also have another layer, which is the monitoring one, which allows to easily extract KPIs, so more concerning specifically CPU, RAMs consumption, storage consumption, and so on, from the virtual network functions that are deployed, but also from the application. And also the orchestration layer is based on a proper, let's say, an internal solution, which is made ad hoc for our facility. And concerning what we have right now in terms of capabilities, this comes from the facility extensions that we had in OpenCool 1. So we have now ready Camara APIs. The most important one that we will ask OC3 vertical experiments to exploit is the Edge Cloud API. We also have other APIs, Camara's one, like device location, device status, and so on, that are going to be tested soon and completed soon, that it will be available for OC3 projects. We also have core network monitoring and configuration dashboard, which was made available on OC1. Also from OC1 we have the two-step RATch, which enables RedCap devices to be exploited in our facility, and this is also another beyond features that we invite vertical experiments to exploit. So in terms of vertical experiments, David, next slide, please. What we are, let's say, expecting are most of mostly PPDR use cases. Because we have because we have this outdoor facility that can be exploited and that has already been exploited in the past with other projects like 5G drones for this kind of use cases, and would be really interesting to accommodate those vertical experiments. And also we're asking vertical experiments to onboard their applications using our orchestration platform. And also, to validate end-to-end the integration with these experiments with our 5G experimental facility. And that's it for us.
Thank you, Julio. And now we are going to move to the administrative and financial aspects of the open call. I'm going to let Jim Clark to take over. Jim, do you want to share the screen?
Yes, I will, David. Just give me a moment now. Is it sharing?
Not well.
No?
Yes, it's sharing, but it's
Yeah.
not in presenter mode.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today. I'm just going to cover some of the administrative and the financial aspects. So this is just a timeline of the open call process. David has more or less covered this already. If we kind of work backwards, as David said, the projects will be starting around April next year, and then we'll run for 6 months. So the signing of the subgrant agreement will take place sometime in March, and then so if you work your way backwards, you'll see that the different components or steps take 2 months or 1 month here and 1 month there. So it's quite an intensive set of activities to to go through, and in order to accomplish this, I just want to point out here that the subgrant agreement is non-negotiable, apart from some minor information, such as information about the winners themselves, the organizations, and also if there's any IPR, special IPR issues that need to be addressed. And what we like to stress here is that to avoid any sort of delay, we encourage these discussions during the feasibility stage. So in the feasibility check, there's a place where you can highlight any of your specific IPR things that you want within the subgrant agreement. So I encourage you to download the subgrant agreement, have your legal people look at it, well ahead of time, and then if you're not in agreement with the sort of typical IPR situation that's in EU projects, we encourage you to put your specific things in the feasibility check, just to avoid any sort of delay, because the timeline is such that we cannot have any delays, especially in the last phase of the project. Okay, then once the projects start, to facilitate the smooth running of it, each project will be assigned a patron pair from the facilities who will facilitate their smooth onboarding and monitoring throughout the project's lifetime. Just some of the eligibility criteria. It's any legal entity in Europe or EU associated countries with a validated PIC number. As David said in the third open call, it must be a single legal entity acting as coordinator, a completed application relevant to the scope of the call before the deadline, and during the submission phase, you will be asked to acknowledge the prior knowledge and acceptance of the terms of the subgrant agreement. So again, please download that right away and send that to your legal departments, because there won't be an opportunity to address this during this this final phase before the contracts are signed. Okay, applicants have not been awarded a grant in a previous Imagine Beyond 5G call, as David mentioned earlier, applicants will only be funded in one application to the same call. So there's no prohibition of submitting more than one application. But if both applications are within the the ranking list, only one of them will be accepted for funding. And there's also nothing to prohibit an application to our open calls at the same time as an application to other SNS projects open calls. However, the Commission have been intensively having the SNS projects work together in order to make sure there's no double funding or operational capacity issues for the same if project teams are in two different open calls. So we will be looking at these very closely. Okay. If accepted for funding, the coordinators are required to sign a declaration of honor stipulating that the entity is eligible for financing in line with the eligibility rules of Horizon Europe, declares no double funding, and has operational capacity with the possibility for requests for additional documentation if and when required. And a feasibility check must be carried out by the relevant facility. And I'll go into that in a bit more detail here. So the way it works is that you will contact the facility following a template that's provided on the website. So please be as comprehensive as possible in filling in the template, and please submit this by the 15th of November. And the facilities will provide some feedback to the proposers. Okay, and then this must be copied into section F of the proposal template. If the feasibility check is not carried out, the proposal is deemed ineligible. In terms of the evaluation, each project will be evaluated by a team of internal and external evaluators, and this team will be appointed based on the expertise of the evaluators on the topic while avoiding any conflicts of interest. Ranking will be based on a scoring system across criteria, excellence, impact, value, and implementation. And this is following the usual guidelines of European Commission funded projects. And as mentioned earlier, the project will implement 2 ranking lists in order to fund 2 categories of stakeholders to ensure that at least 50% of the budget goes towards the SME entities, and then the remainder towards other entities like academic research organizations, etc. As David mentioned in the first 2 open calls, we didn't actually have to do it in this way because, as it turned out, that there was quite a number of SMEs involved in the projects, in the proposals that were submitted and eventually funded. And then the distribution will be starting from the SME list to the facilities will be based upon the specific number of open call users each facility can support. The subgrant agreement is available at this link here, and this is between the coordinator partner of the open call and my organization, Southeast Technological University, who are the ones responsible for making the payments. There'll be no negotiation on the terms, and the proposer must acknowledge that they've downloaded it and read the subgrant agreement and understand there's no negotiation at the time of submission. And the only caveat there is that there is the information of each of the partners, of course, would have to be changed, and then the any IPR issues, as I mentioned before, which should be discussed and agreed during the feasibility check. In terms of reporting, we don't want to bog down the projects with too much administrative items, but just to ensure the project's main work is being focused. We do have 2 deliverables, one in the first month, due in month 1, and this is what we call the intermediate execution plan, and just an initial report on the usage of the resources. So it's just the plan, at that point, and then we even though a lump sum model is used for payment for monitoring purpose, we ask that the participants report on the number of person months spent, personnel, and other costs, as well as related indirect costs that they expect during the first half of the period, okay, in the first deliverable. And then likewise in the final deliverable at the end of the project, that's the final experimentation extension report. We also ask for information on the resources, and this must be accompanied by a corresponding signed request for payment from the partner as evidence of the money being spent. And the reporting requirements are all outlined in the subgrant agreement in Annex 2 of the subgrant agreement. In terms of the allowable cost categories, there's the usual personnel costs for the development, integration, experimentation, testing, and validation activities, infrastructure, hardware, and software to deploy the project, travel and accommodation to participate in Imagine-B5G proposed activities. Some budget can be used for communications and promotional activities to raise the impact and awareness of your activities. And the project will be monitoring these costs and their deliverables and using the lump sum model for payment. Okay, these are just some of the links you can check for in some of the email address. And then if you wish, you can see some of the other earlier open call webinars, which perhaps might have more detail as well. And then how much time, David, do we have?
Well, the 1 hour is finishing, but I guess we can continue a little bit longer. And
Okay.
the webinars will continue being recorded. So if you want to go over the facts, I think that's good.
Okay, but is
And
it?
we can
I can't see on my
if
screen. Is there any questions coming or?
Yes, so I was checking there were just the request to share the presentation to an email that we will do, but we will also upload
Yes.
it to the web page. And the question about SMEs. There is a team. You have some questions. If you can type them in the chat, and I will read them out loud, please. Tim, can you please, I can try to, let me see if I can, if you can type them, I think it's easier. I don't know if you are typing them or not. Let me see if I can allow Mike. Okay, Tim, you should be able to speak now. You might need to unmute. Well, Tim had some questions, but maybe Jim, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'll go on through some of these, and then if Tim sends a question. So what kind of stakeholders can participate? I think I covered this a little bit before. So pretty much everyone, apart from not individuals. So there can be private and public organizations. They can be from industry and research, just not individual researchers. So essentially, anyone with a PIC number located within the EU member states or associated countries. And as we mentioned, the participation of SMEs, scale-ups, and startups is particularly encouraged by the SNS program, and most of the SNS projects, like ourselves, are targeting at least a budget of up to 50% of the total open call budget for SMEs. Can we apply to other SMS open calls at the same time as applying to our open call? As I said, there's nothing to prohibit this applying to other ones, but we do a strict due diligence process where we work with the other SNS projects and look and make sure that there's no operational capacity issues happening. So in other words, it's especially important for SMEs where they might be the same teams are working on 2 different projects at the same time in 2 different open calls. We ask them to explain how they're going to be able to work 12-person months in this project and 12-person months in that project at the exact same time. And they must be able to explain that, that they have the operational capacity, and also that the projects have to be completely different and there can be no double funding of the activities. So it is possible, but there will be a good bit of scrutiny with the 2 involved projects. Can more than one participant or organization team up in our open call 3? That's not possible due to the size of the projects, and so we're not allowing more than one consortium partner. Do the participants to the open calls need a category for platform extensions have to be located? No, they don't have to be in the same eligible countries to participate. It may be advantageous in some respects to be in the same country, but it's not necessary. You don't have to be in the same country. Okay. Can a vertical experiment involve more than one Imagine-B5G facility? It is possible, but it must be well justified in the proposal. And then, of course, it has to undergo a feasibility check in both of the facilities. If there's 2 facilities or more facilities, just keep in mind that you must get a feasibility check in all of them. And you may find that if there has been in the past a case where it's submitted to 2 or 3 facilities, but only one of those is able to uptake or approve the feasibility check. And so that could be helpful in focusing your proposal a bit more. Okay, but just keep in mind that you have to put in a feasibility check per facility. Can my proposal address both vertical experiments and platform extensions in a single proposal? In open call 3, as I said, this is not possible because we're only accepting proposals related to vertical experiments. Is it mandatory to get a feasibility check from a test facility? Yes, it is. And this result will be included in your application in section F to ensure that the project you propose is technically feasible. Failing to do so will make your application ineligible. Will participant organizations be required to sign a DOH? Yes. If a project is successful, a declaration of honor will be requested to be signed once the final eligibility checks are made at the end of the evaluation period. All participant organizations should sign a DOH and return to the designated contact email. And a template for this is available on the Open Call website for you to examine. And this just gives a list of all the EU member states and all the associated countries. And we have multiple uploads of the same application, i.e. version 1 this week, version 2 next week until the deadline. Yes, it's very similar to the European Commission website where it just keeps overwriting the previous one. So you can do that. So we suggest that you do that to be on the safe side. Do we get a notification when a proposal submission is made? Yes, the submitter will receive an email from the portal each time they submit. These are just some of the samples, and there's many more available on the website. So please visit this regularly because they do get updated quite regularly. Okay. Was there another question, David? Did Tim write a question?
Yeah, so he typed them. He had some issues with the mic, but those are technical questions related to this high priority use case in the Portuguese facility related to the localization. And well, I don't know if I'm not sure we have someone from Altis Lab at the moment, but I have provided some answers and just recommended him to send an email to the email reflector for questions and comments on the open call, and we will once we receive the question, the team of experts will answer, because he was asking for some very specific technicalities, like which information is available and things like that. So I don't know if there is any comment or question. If you can ask at any time in this email, I have typed in the chat, which is available also in the web page. And well, I think we can conclude. Thank you, Jim, and Costas and Oplu and the facility leaders. We will close it. Recall we have this feasibility check, then mandatory requirement in 10 days, and the submission in more or less it's 1 month, so it's 6th of December. So looking forward to the submissions. Good luck also in the process, and well, we keep in touch. Let's finish it, the webinar. Thank you for your participation. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.